So I have a timeline theory, and it's a doozy. But you're not going to like it. I'm sorry. You're not going to like it, but I think it explains everything. And yeah, it's about the orange diaper man. So I've been playing with this the past couple weeks, especially since he disappeared for 5 days. And this is me piecing this theory together, both in conversations I've been having with my psychic friends, in addition to conversations I'm having with Spirit right now. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a trance channel. If you don't know me, hello, welcome. And in things Spirit has said in the past about this, that now that months have passed, I'm reinterpreting those messages in a different way given what's happened. And the theory is this. We are timeline hopping rapidly. And every time he gets very sick and he dies in a timeline, that timeline collapses. And we're instantly transported to another timeline where we start all over again. I know. I don't like this, which is why I've been saying, why can't he stay dead? Because I am telling you people, and I know I'm not alone in this. When he goes away, it's not just conspiracy. It's not just getting, jacked on the hype, although I do that. Got to take our jollies where we can. This is, I feel it when it happens. I know it is happening. But then I wake up the next morning and I know it hasn't happened. What? It's been a lot. Okay? So travel with me while I build my case for this theory. And this will also explain to you why it's happening. And that will give you a lot of comfort, because I do not believe that we are doomed to do this forever. Okay? I don't believe maybe for a minute. I'm sorry, maybe for a minute, but not forever. There is if this theory is true, there is divine purpose in this. So stick with me. So my primary reasoning for this is Spirit has shown me and told me very explicitly that the timelines are going to converge for it. Now, I've been saying it is either his removal, his passing, his incapacitation. I don't know clearly which it is the it, because I feel like they're actually all going to happen. It's just a matter of what order do they happen in? So Spirit has said timelines are going to converge for our experience of it. And I believe I started sharing that message in late May, June, somewhere around there. And then in my June psychic preview event, so every month I get together, it's a live group psychic session where I tune in, what are the energies of the month? You can get all my replays. They're at the link in the bio, because they're not just about the month, okay? They're big picture images, big picture guidance, and they are rapidly coming true, okay? So in June, what Spirit showed me, they showed me the big potential for him passing away by stroke. And I posted a video to that here. It got almost 1 million views, crazy. But what Spirit also said immediately preceding that clip and immediately after, I was seeing so many different options. I was seeing these bubbles, in Cinderella, the old school Cinderella, where she's mopping the floor and she's singing that song and there's these bubbles and she's in all the different bubbles. It looked like that. And in all these bubbles, I could see whole timelines, whole potentials and scenes for what could go down. And Spirit is there are so many. And I was saying I don't know how to tell you, there's too many. So I said, okay, I'm going to give you a few. And here was the one. I picked out the one of him, death by stroke. And I said that one. But there were more, okay? There were many more. And so at that point, I was going to go into a few more. But Spirit is maybe put it down and just go for what's the highest potential? What's the best that could happen? Don't focus on all these little different potentials. Focus on the big picture. What's the best that could happen? How good can this get? I love to say that. How good can this get? So then fast forward to Labor Day. And he disappears and we're all oh, hell yeah, it happened. We felt it. And then we woke up and there he was. What the fuck happened? Why did we feel it? Why did we get the psychic insights? Why did we see and know only for it to shift, sand underneath our feet? So I actually sent an email to the people on my list launching this theory. Because what Spirit has shown me about myself is that part of my role, I have many different roles as a psychic, as an ascension teacher, as an energy worker. I'm doing a lot. Most of us are, whether you're aware of it or not. So one of my roles, I'm calling it, I'm a timeline Pied Piper. I am going around to various timelines and I am putting up my light, sending out the call, and people are joining me and they're following me. And then we shift together into a new timeline. Now, the thing about timelines collapsing is, even if there's something on a timeline we think we want and it collapses and it feels really frustrating, timelines collapsing is a very, very, very good thing. What that means is we have closed out what we needed from that experience. It's null and void. And then we're taking our energy that is spread out into that timeline and bringing it with us to a higher timeline. And I know that's a lot. If you watch my video, just a few back, where I talked about timelines, this will explain it. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll include it in the captions from like a week ago. So when we close out, nullify, collapse a timeline, what we're doing is we are extracting the lessons. We are extracting all the benefits, all the things, and we're integrating it into us, which makes us stronger, more wise, more whole. And we are letting go of the things that either weren't working, the lessons we're done with, the karma. We finished out karma, wrapped it up, that timeline can collapse. We're done with it. Now, what we've noticed as we've been going around all these months this year, and it's been one shit show after another, I know. But this isn't because we're going off the rails. It's because we're going to all these different timelines and we are wrapping up the karmic lessons quickly, immediately, lightning fast. And when we do that, when we close out those experiences, the timeline can collapse and then we can travel on, migrate upward, bring as many people as possible who were on those timelines. Maybe they were asleep. Maybe they felt alone and didn't have strength in numbers. Maybe any number of things. We're Pied Pipering along all these timelines to help people heal, close out lessons, finish karma, and then bring them with us to the higher timelines. And we're not just going to the higher timelines, we are creating the higher timelines. We're integrating the lessons. We are co-creating with the universe what this higher timeline should entail, should contain, and what it looks like. And I'm going to say something real controversial here, which is why I buried it in this video at minute 7. What we saw with the recent death this week was a glimpse of what it would look like when the death happens. The chaos, the turmoil, the dog eat dog, the retribution, the feelings of retribution, the rage. We're seeing happen. And I don't know about you, but it looks pretty ugly. And I am really glad that this is happening now and not with the it. Because the it with this level of chaos would only make things 1,000 times worse. Yeah. So we're going through this now. We're going through this now with this figurehead, this public figure, this divisive human in the Red Hat Party. And so people are working out various things. They're getting their anger out. They're calling for justice. But then, as they've realized it came from one of their own, they're having to have that very uncomfortable mirror right up in their faces. So as chaotic as it looks right now, this is another wave of awakening for the deep red hats or for the casual MAGA adjacent people. This is a very brutal and uncomfortable awakening for them to witness what is happening when it happens to one of their own. So collapsing that timeline of the death by stroke on Labor Day, I'm sorry, but that's the best case scenario. Now, it doesn't mean he's not going to kick the bucket. It doesn't mean it's not going to happen by stroke, okay? It might not. But what I'm saying is, as we collapse out these timelines, it doesn't necessarily mean we're not going to get the end result that we feel or some variation of it. What it means is we're collapsing the weaker timelines that are not serving the beneficial overall higher purpose. So every time we collapse out a timeline, I want you to see it as a good thing. I want you to see it as a beautiful, victorious, something to celebrate, because it is. Because the reason Spirit started talking with me in May about needing to unify under one timeline, this is how we create the new earth. This is how we create a unified society. Because if we're fragmented into all these, not only different timelines, but mindsets, ideologies, which by the way is what creates timelines. Watch my video. Timelines are about choices and life paths. So as we're collapsing these, we're also collapsing the mindsets and the structures that created those ways of life. So as people have an awakening, they can come out of that timeline and they can come into one where now we're processing, what has our hate and division brought us? What are we doing here, fam? What are we doing here as a nation? Red hats are now processing that. Maybe not everyone, but many of them are. So there you go. I don't know if you liked it or not. I'm sorry. I'm just the messenger. But this actually makes the most sense to me. What do you think?